Hey guys, guess who is finally on the YouTube streets? Excited? Yes. Nervous? Yes. And everything else. But yes, here we are, and I hope to have an exciting journey with each and every one of you. So more than 6 months ago, I actually moved countries, and I've been getting questions on how did I move, how was I able to do that, and I thought, why not start with that video? So here we are, and I'm just gonna share my whole journey with you. So actually my journey starts in 2016 when at the time I just graduated, and then one of my friends I think was planning to move here. So during that time she'd traveled a bit and she kept on telling me, you should think of this and stuff like that. So once I graduated, I thought I could probably try and get scholarships that would, of course, get me abroad. So, of course, I'd already thought of Australia by that time because my friend told me about it. And so I did my research, but then that's when I found out that Australia has no full scholarships. So tried applying to one of the schools in early 2017, I think, got a letter, but then I couldn't even understand what they wanted. Like, yes, it was written down, but I felt like it was so much I couldn't understand a thing. And calculating the money, trying to change it into Kenyan currency, and I just remember my mom being like, hey, this is a lot. So yeah, so that of course kind of like ended the discussion on me moving at the time. So this is 2017. So anyway, so I settled in, get a job, move jobs, stuff like that. And then in 2019, my dad asks, do you still want to study? And I'm like, yeah, if I get the opportunity, I would want to. So 2019, towards the end, that is when now I seriously started again the research. So during my research again, I realized that the first school I had chosen and gotten a letter from is not even offering the course now. So of course that made me start literally from scratch. And I did my research. This time I was just focusing on just not Australia. I was looking at Canada, looking at the US, because you see US, UK, you know, they always have scholarships. So I was just looking at all those, and in my mind I knew that I wasn't gonna come and do like a medical course, because hey, me and science, no. So yeah, that was settled. I just wanted to kind of build on what I had already done for my undergrad, and that is exactly what I did. So did my research, settled on a uni, and then got an agent through the uni. The uni had a list of like agents, and then visited the agent, talked about possibilities of, you know, getting a scholarship and stuff like that, because I was still hopeful. But then of course the agent just sort of told me, no scholarships, you could get maybe a 20% off or 30% off your fees, but there's nothing like guaranteed. So yeah, so that began my process. By this time I had a bit of savings. A bit of that of course went to paying the agent, because I had to pay the agent fees for them to kind of like start the whole application process. And this is 2019 December. So 2019 December they start the process, and 2020 January I get the first letter. So usually the first letter comes with a set of conditions that you have to fulfill. One of the conditions for me was I had to do an English test, because, well, they had to assess my English, I guess. Yeah, so I had to do an English test. I think those two conditions, I can't remember the other one, but I'll insert the letter. So yeah, so I had to do an English test. This is January. So I booked the test, but because I had been out of school for so long, I felt like I needed a lot of time. And so I booked the test for March. So this is January. We do not have the money, all the money that's needed, because just like I mentioned, Australia doesn't have scholarships. So you need to cover your, at least pay your first semester fees, and then they tell you that you need to pay for your medical insurance for 2 years, because I was coming for a 2-year course, and then of course, show that you can live here. So proof that you can actually live here. So proof of money to that effect. So once the letter comes in January, we're still like hopeful that we'll be able to raise the money. And of course I had to do the test. So I was like, by that time things will of course be okay. Like I was so hopeful. I remember even writing, like, I think 2019 or something, or 2020, a Facebook post, and I was like, I have crazy faith that this God will provide, or something like that. And yeah, so January ends, February comes, and a few days before my birthday is usually on 8th, so a few days before my birthday, my dad calls and he's like, yo, we have the money. And for me, this was just like an affirmation that I am supposed to go. Gosh, I was so happy, because I was like, wow, this was something I had prayed for so long. I had asked some of my friends to pray over this with me, because I just did not know where the money was gonna come from. So when my dad called me and told me that, I was like, so now the pressure is gone. The only pressure I have now is, of course, the English test. So March comes, the first case of COVID is announced in Kenya, and that the next day is when I was to do the test. So anyway, so I go do the test, that's done, and then we wait for the results. So the results come, I think, a week later, and I'd actually passed, because usually you're given like a score depending on the course you're coming for. Some will tell you to get a 7, some will tell you to get a 6, and stuff like that. So I had passed. I had gotten beyond my score, my set score. So I was happy about that. But then remember, COVID is in the country. People are shutting borders, countries are shutting borders, all that stuff is happening, and here I am, I'm just like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? Anyway, I was still hopeful, because I was like, God already like provided, God has made me pass, like he can't bring me this far to just like leave me. I just can't give up now. So yeah, so that's the song I was holding on to. Anyway, so COVID comes, April, May, June. I was to go in July. The school sends a letter after I send back the English test. They send a letter now, of course, with other conditions. The condition was, I think I was to go, I was to pay the fees and stuff. So that letter comes, I think we pay the fees. I'm not so sure, I'll have to check. But yeah, we do all that. But of course, by this time, Australia has shut its borders. So me, I'm just so stressed, so anxious. Here I was planning the way I'm gonna quit my job, and I was so excited about that, and then I still have to be here. So I was pretty bummed by this point. But I was just like, you know what? It is what it is. At the end of the day, there's nothing much I could do. So yeah, so after that, of course, I had to defer, because by July the borders were not open. So I had to defer my course. I deferred to February of 2021. And by this time I was just like, you know what, whatever happens, like, yeah, it is what it is. So the rest of the year goes on uneventful, really. I was super stressed still, but yeah, I feel like 2020 was just really a blur. So 2021 comes, and I get the letter, of course, telling me you can, your offer, of course, for February intake is available and stuff. February, Australia has not opened its borders, so there's no way I'm going. Plus, I don't even have my visa. Then in March or April, my visa comes. My visa comes, but Australia has not opened its borders, so there's nowhere I'm going. So yeah, so I mean, 2021 was just there for me, but 2021 I felt like, you know what, even if I don't go, I'm happy, because I was so happy. Like, job was going okay, I got a promotion, I got to start my side hustle, I got featured in the newspaper, like there were so many good things happening. So I was just like, you know what, if nothing else, if this doesn't happen, then I know I'm here and I'm gonna make the best of it. So yeah, so it's kind of like I had resigned my mind to the fact that I was fine with not going or not coming, but it was kind of like, yeah, it was fine with me. So yeah, so 2021 happens. I defer again to July because borders are not open. July comes, borders are not open. I defer to February 2022. So 2021 goes on, uneventful. Then in December, Australia starts opening its borders. And so one of my friends in a different state is like, borders are open, you should come. Blah, blah, blah. We'll figure it out once you're here on how you'll go to the state you're supposed to go and study. By this time, I'm like, do I really want to go? Because this is a dream, yes, that has been there for a while. But then by this time, I'm just like, do I really still want to take it up? Do I want to go? Anyway, so we dilly-dally a bit. I don't go in December. January comes because I was hoping I would also give like my resignation at work and be able to get monies from work. So January comes, I give my resignation, and end of January I leave work. My birthday was in February, and then 2 days later I left the country. And that is how I got here. It was a lot of, I believe, faith, a lot of trust in God, a lot of hope, a lot of research, and a lot of support from my friends and my family, because I feel like that's actually what helped me get here. Even, of course, by support I also mean financial from my family, because my family played such a huge role in getting me here. It's been a few months, still feels surreal. I feel like I've settled in, but yeah, there's a lot more. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section and I will be sure to reply. If you want more details, of course, just let me know and we'll see how I can get them to you as well. I will see you in my next one. Bye.